I think in every office there's one person whom everybody loves. One person who's not a mixed blessing,
Tucker.
but just a blessing. And here at Fox, that person is Ainsley Earhardt. You can ask any producer, any anchor, you can ask any makeup artist or lighting guy or cameraman. She's the best. Her book, new one, Take Heart, My Child, A Mother's Dream, is #1 right now on all books on Amazon and obviously #1 on children's books. And she joins us live. That's just amazing. Tell me how did that happen?
Okay, so I went in.
How'd you do that?
I called my agent and I said, I really feel like I'm supposed to be writing this children's book. All these signs that I was supposed to write this book. I wrote a book about my dog. And I read it to the agents, and my agents, and they were like, we really like that. Let's pitch it to some of the publishers. So they did, and Simon & Schuster said, we want to meet her. So bring her in. We watch her on Fox. So I come in and I meet with them, and they're like, all right, tell us about yourself. And I said, well, you know, grew up in just a normal family in South Carolina. My parents are the best. My dad was a coach. Mom went to school early to teach all these amazing kids. She's an amazing person. But Dad was in charge of breakfast. And every day, every morning, he would leave a little note or a little scripture or a little saying next to our cereal bowls. And I was like, you know, I remember Walt Disney, I hope I'll never be afraid to fail. Attitude determines aptitude. Don't expect to soar with the stay up with the owls. Don't expect to soar with the eagles. Nothing good happens after midnight. And they loved all these.
That's my favorite one.
So they loved all these, and they're like, "That's your book, Ainsley. Write this." Then they were like, "Do you ever get to share your faith?" Because I said my faith is extremely important. Do you ever get to share your faith on Fox News? I was like, "Yeah, they've never told me I can and can't say anything." I said, so the other day I was on the 5, and we were talking about ISIS, we were talking about this election, and I said, there's a scripture that I love. Take heart, my child. I have overcome the world. So God's in control. We're going to be okay. And so they were like, that's the title of the book. I'm like, how did this happen? How did Ainsley Earhardt write a book? I'm like, this is, I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due, and that is to those ladies, my agents, Fox News Channel for allowing me to do this and talk about this, you for having me on, everyone for having me on, supporting me, and to God. I mean,
have they ever heard anything like this in a pitch meeting at Simon & Schuster?
I don't know. I mean, I love these ladies. We fell in love. They're like my best friends.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great, and they let me tell my story.
I should just say to our viewers, if you haven't seen Ainsley in the morning, she's the most sincere person ever. There's no agenda other than...
What is there to be upset about? Okay, we have the best viewers ever. We live in this great country. We have the freedoms to write a book. My dreams have come true. I had a healthy baby girl this year. I got my dream job. I get to work with you. I'm holding a book that has my name on it. I mean, what is to be upset about?
It's awesome.
You know?
So tell me about the book. I mean, who were you thinking about as you wrote it?
So as I wrote it, I mean, it's all the lessons my parents taught us, and combined in like a lyrical way. It's not exactly like, I hope I'll never be afraid to fail. I could read you a little excerpt or whatever, but it's it's a message I wanted to pass on to my daughter. I was pregnant, writing this book. I mean, I'm like boo-hooing when I got the book in the mail for the first time from the folks across the street at Simon & Schuster. And they mailed me this, and I go into my daughter's nursery. I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. I sit in her chair in her bedroom. This was like a few weeks before she was born. And I'm just reading this. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for all these many blessings. But it says, before you were born, before you came to be, I dreamed a love song on a butterfly sea. The waters that day whispered truths in my ears of hope for you, love, for your life through the years. May your feet trace new patterns on warm sandy shores. May you dive into waves and yearn to explore. But if you get lost in the ocean's vast tides, take heart, my child. I'll be by your side. And
Amen.
that's for you, sweet Hayden.
Ainsley Earhardt.
I mean, the illustrator.
There's the book.
The illustrator. This is her first book, Tucker. I mean, I've got my notes that are falling out.
You are the best.
Look at that! Isn't that amazing? Her name's Jamie Kim. She's from North Carolina. She's one of my peeps. She's from the Carolinas.
Thank you, Ainsley.
Thank you. Oh, and 10% goes to Folds of Honor.
Of course it does. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You're the best. Tucker, congratulations,
by the way. Thank you, Ainsley.